r/AskReddit. People who've had sex with celebrities. How was it? I'm starting to figure out people who bang celebrities aren't on Reddit. Slept with the lady that used to do the morning news in my city. This was at least 15 years ago. She is a blanket stealer and puts her cold feet right between your legs when she wants them warmed up. Now everyone knows Cassie. This is the cutest one by far. Girl I know slept with G-Eazy in 2015 before he was really big. He gave her chlamydia. Mayo. I feel like chlamydia is his middle name. Chlamydia easy? Well, if this thread has taught me something, it's that celebrities are riddled with STDs. A friend slept with the lead singer of City and Colour when they were touring university campuses in the early 2000s. She bragged about it to anyone who would listen. That ended a few weeks later when she realized he gave her chlamydia and genital warts. Post Malone asked my ex-girlfriend if she would be interested in going home with him under the condition that she would have to eat his ass. If there is one person's ass I would not want to eat, he would probably be it. Plus, his beehole probably has some stupid tattoo on it, like So Hungry or some shit. Slept with Western Kentucky's mascot after a drunken day at Churchill Downs. She refused to keep the head on. Still 10 out of 10 experience. Yes, the big red blob thing. A friend of mine ducked the Dell guy off. Dude, you're getting a Dell fame when we were in college. If you know who the Dell guy is, congratulations on being old like me and my friend. She got the D. I remember he got fired when he was busted with weed, lol. Not me, but a girl I knew slept with some F-list reality TV douchebag. He quoted himself off the show as a chat-up line and then again after he came. She described the experience as embarrassing, but not sure for who. I'm guessing it was Puck from the Real World SF. Jenna Jameson kissed me on the mouth at a strip club in Ohio. That's all I got. I saw Danny DeVito cursing out a cyclist who nearly wiped him out. Getting out of a private cab once in San Fran was almost as good as sex. It's too bad he didn't start blasting. I knew a girl who was an escort. She had sex with Derek Jeter. Afterwards he called a limo to take her home. In the limo was a gift. It was a baseball signed by Derek Jeter. He did this with all of them. There are plenty of dames in New York with Yankees gift baskets courtesy of this legend. A girl I went to high school with dated Jason Ackner aka Wee Man. Shortly before Jackass 3 came out, he visited her family in WI around Thanksgiving time, but he hated WI so much that he paid her best friend to drive him to the airport in the middle of the night. I guess when he visited he was WI man. My nana was in a serious relationship with Nash of Crosby, Stills and Nash. Is she Joni Mitchell? You know, now that you mention it. I stood 2 feet away from Ethan Hawke in Tulum, Mexico at the restaurant, Heartwood, and that's the closest I've been to a celebrity's genitals. A woman I worked with had a one-night stand with Captain Obvious from Hotels.com, whom she met at a NY jazz club. She pretended that she didn't recognize him in order to prevent being seen as a gold digger. She was hoping to get into a short-term relationship with him and hopefully he would give her some money and buy her a Lexus, which she really wanted. Later she found out that he wasn't Captain Obvious, just looked very much like him. Gold digger trying to act like they aren't a gold digger. That's a new one. On a trip to Vegas, one of my friends effed Michael Jordan. She said it was painful and fairly fast. She won't ever stop talking about it. If I just saw Michael Jordan in person I probably would never stop talking about it. I met him when I was 14. I'm 32 now. Still haven't stopped talking about it. I used a gender-neutral bathroom with James Franco. We made eye contact and smiled at each other when we were washing our hands. A celebrity I've masturbated to liked one of my tweets once. I won't say who. My ex slept with Till from Rammstein after a gig once many years ago when she was a gothlet. She said he was very respectful, mildly kinky, wanted to have sex on the hotel balcony with her bent over the rail over the city so people could see, and apparently had skin as soft as a baby. Apparently he was nice. Bought her breakfast the next day, invited her back for a second sesh the next day, then moved on in his tour. She said 8/10 would star duck again. My bestie had basically the exact same experience with Till, except she tried to duck him backstage and he declined, but invited her to his hotel room after the show. She showed up. He wouldn't let her inside until she showed him her driver's license. Apparently he had thought she was underage earlier and was just blowing her off. Didn't expect to see her again. Anyway, she was 20. She did look younger, so he let her stay the night. She said the same thing about him being very respectful and having really soft skin. I did not sleep with but did a little more than made out with Drew Barrymore October 07. It was rad. She was always my biggest crush growing up. Congratulations. Now we must duel. My wife's grandmother dated Ted Bundy. Said he was a wonderful and charming guy. I mean, by all accounts he was. That's what made him so famous. He personified the next door neighbor could be a crazy person idea because he was just so. Not a typical serial killer in the way most people think. I was smoking weed with the bass player from Belphegor after a show, and when my girlfriend called he politely asked if she would suck his dong. Upon learning it wouldn't happen, he graciously accepted the no and we continue talking about metal. Barely relevant, but I think the story is funny. Knew someone who slept with Leonardo DiCaprio. Apparently he kept his headphones on the entire time. Doggy style? This rumor is everywhere. I want to know what he's listening to. What you don't realize is the amount of NDAs floating around out there, lol. I used to know a dude who claims to have met Amanda Bynes in the mental hospital rehab. They dated for a while. He said she was very unstable and clingy and honestly terrifying to be with. I wish I could remember some of his stories. That's so sad. She always seemed so sweet and down to earth in real life. When the news broke of her having such bad mental health issues, my heart broke for her. I hope she's doing better now. A friend told me Victoria Justice gave lap dances to some of his friends at a party the year she signed on for Victorious. Was it Dan Gettin the Van Schneider? I slept with a well-known, now deceased, rapper when he came to Toronto a couple of times, and I stayed at his place in California for a few days as well. The sex was good, but it wasn't any better than a non-celeb. He wasn't selfish in bed at all and it felt natural cause we got along. He was actually really down to earth and fun to hang out with. Mac Miller will be missed. Close to 20 years ago, my roommate hooked up with a suicide girl who came to our apartment to stay for a few days. She kept name dropping all these celebrities she knew like Slash and Trent Reznor to the point we were like, why you lying? Then she pulled out all the pictures of her with various famous musicians. Apparently she was the secretary to someone famous for producing music and that was how she met all these dudes. Well, she was in a relationship with Maynard from Tool at the time and she left him to come live with us for a while because apparently sex with Maynard was just really ducking bad. She later left my roommate for one of the drummers for Slipknot because he bought her a house in Texas. My roommate worked for a grocery store and just couldn't compete with the money. She did assure him that the celebrity sex was still bad. It was purely for the house. I hooked up with Randy Newman's son. He said I had a nice vagina. I guess that's a win. I guess you could say that. He had a friend in you. Friend of mine met Tiger Woods while bartending a golf charity tournament he was attending. He took her back to his hotel room and tossed her salad and had unprotected sex. This was several years before he crashed into a mailbox and divorced his wife. I know a married woman who has a child that looks just like Tiger Woods. Not unusual except for the fact her and her husband are white. The kid isn't, and she was one of his booty calls. My grandmother dated Jimmy Carter. Not sure how physical things got, but I've read a few of the letters he wrote. I only post this because I can't think of any other reason I would get to bring this up. My mom had sex with David Lee Roth. She said he smelled like sour milk and put his dirty hat on her head. My mother had a one-night stand with Conan back in early 2000s. They met at a bar somewhere in Texas and he bought them a hotel room. I slept with a very famous and still popular rapper from Memphis. The sex was surprisingly good. He was very attentive and affectionate. I thought he'd be arrogant, but he was cool and made sure I enjoyed myself too. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.